Hey everyone, welcome to this quick overview of Mobilize.net SnowConvert for Teradata. Assessment mode, as you can see up here. We're in assessment mode. And in assessment mode, we're only going to get the assessment reports and log files. We will not actually get the converted code. But assessment mode does give you a pretty good idea of the kind of conversion that SnowConvert for Teradata can do. So I'm not going to go through the install and setup process. It should be pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions or issues, please reach out to us at support@mobilize.net. Let's assume that we're already installed here. I will say that you should have gotten a license key in the mail, in your email, that would appear right here. When you first open SnowConvert, it should prompt you for a license. If it doesn't for some reason, just go to help, license information, and you can click here to change your license and copy and paste into the text bar that'll appear here. You can just copy and paste your license key in there. So let's go ahead and run this thing in assessment mode and see what we get. Remember, SnowConvert for Teradata will receive any SQL files, any BTEC, fastload, multiload, tpump, tpt files, and we're going to convert DDL, DML, all of that to Snowflake SQL, store procedures to JavaScript, BTEC files to Python. But in assessment mode, you don't actually get the output. So why is this valuable? Let's take a look. First of all, you just need to choose the directory that you're going to choose to migrate or you're going to choose to run your assessment on. I just have two files here that we'll take a look at real quick. Just have a .sql file with some macros in it. There's some procedures in it. I believe I have tables and views as well. There's some tables. Do I have some views in here? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's some views in here as well. So just a variety of options in this SQL file. You can, of course, separate out your objects into different files, or you can just upload them all as one. I'm also going to throw in a BTEC file here as well. This is a simple BTEC that just drops some tables, creates a new one, and inserts some values into it. So these are the two files that I'm going to upload. So I just need to find that directory, and I'm already on that directory. So great. And I specify the input here, and in the output space over here, I'll specify my output folder. Note that it adds this _out on the end of your directory to add a new directory. I'm just going to change that to a directory called out inside of the folder that I'm using. Note that if you have subdirectories, like if I had different folders in here, it would search through all the subdirectories as well for any extensions that were SQL, BTEC, etc. There are some settings that I can mess with here about object names, defining a default schema name, changing some format, default settings, but not going to worry about any of that. We're just going to hit start analysis. This is going to give me a little info. I have one SQL, one BTEC file, but you guys already knew that. And even though this is just running in assessment mode, SnowConvert is still building a complete abstract syntax tree and symbol table so that we can ensure that we're properly understanding and parsing all of the code. The result you'll get is just the reports, but note that the parsing engine is doing all the same work that it would do for a full conversion. So this is your assessment summary here. Note that it gives you some kind of basic information, how many lines of code you had, how many we believe are converted, how many objects there were, how many are there converted, etc. So let's kind of look at the output here, which is the whole purpose of this video. I'm not going to pay attention to the logs so much, but I am going to click on the reports. You can view the logs, by the way, by going into here, and you'll see that. Note that you're still going to get the SnowConvert helpers Python file to populate. This Python file is just some helper functions that SnowConvert uses when it migrates BTEC files to Python. So anytime you migrate a BTEC fastload multiload file, you'll get this helper class file appear. So let's look in the reports, and I'm going to highlight two in particular. There's a few spreadsheets in here, but let's start with the assessment report. The assessment report is going to give you a bunch of information on your conversion, how many files you had, kind of similar to the information that was in the GUI. At least all of this information is, but it's going to go a little more in depth here. It's going to break it down by SQL, how many objects you had, how many lines of code were in the SQL, then how many were in the BTEC, were there any parsing errors, conversion errors, etc. Note that our BTEC assessment is still under construction. So the conversion rate for the BTEC and FastLoad files is not reported yet, but it will be here in the next month or two. I believe if you are watching this video and have downloaded it, you're just using the beta, the pre-beta. If you scroll down, you'll see a lot more information about how many databases you had containing objects, how many lines of code were in your tables, how many tables you had, how many specific types of tables, how many set tables did you have, temporal tables. Did you have any weird data types? Were there any period data types, interval data types? Ooh, those are fun. And a little more information kind of about each of these data types that are that kind of have unique conversions going on with them. And you'll see the same for views, macros, procedures. We'll even tell you if you have any dynamic result sets or any dynamic SQL that's called. So that's your assessment report. And if we look here at the issues folder or issues file, it's the next one I'll highlight over here. And this file gives you some very specific information, even though you're just getting the assessment. It's going to give you some very specific information about what was not converted. So this says that I had a conversion issue in line 48 of this file, the BTEC file. So you can go back and look at that and try to debug what those were. Note that most of these are warnings. Warnings are not actual. Whoa, I just typed in a 0 there. Warnings are not actual failed conversions or lines of code that were not converted. It's just giving you some information, like the interval data type interval year 2 was converted to varchar. This message, this description message you see here, will appear in the output code when you're using full conversion mode. But we're reporting it to you here so that you can kind of sift through your issues ahead of time, right? So in assessment mode, you'll still get this full issues report that will highlight what could not be converted by SnowConvert, or what, there may have been some things that we want to let you know about your conversion. All these warnings are here. Looks like there was some dynamic SQL that was formatted oddly, but this is a conversion warning. So it was converted, but it was not, we can't verify that the output is actually correct. So that's what this is telling you here. So that's your issues report. And there's a couple other CSVs here, but those are kind of the big ones. So in this assessment mode run of SnowConvert, that's the Zoom screen there. In this assessment mode run, we had 519 lines of code, 99% converted, 33 objects that were 100% converted. And again, I can break that down and look at it a little more closely and see that 485 of those lines of code were SQL, 31 were scripts. And each of my objects, I had 175 lines of code in my tables, 117 in views, and they were all converted correctly. No parsing errors or conversion errors. So that's that. That is SnowConvert for Teradata in assessment mode. If you have any questions or you want to learn more about how to get the full conversion mode, of course, you can always reach out to us at info@mobilize.net. Or you can visit the same page that you downloaded this tool on, and there should be a link to find out how to get the full conversion. So thanks for watching.